We Americans like to brag about our rights, and one is especially essential to democracy. In fact, New Mexico recognizes that the right to vote is so important that we actually pay some people to use it. Every election day, state employees get paid time off from their jobs to go and cast ballots. But News 13 investigative reporter Larry Barker has discovered that many of those who take that time and the money turn right around and give democracy a boot in the butt.
Bottom line, the state employees, they cheated the system.
That's correct. That can be construed as fraud.
They lied, they bilked taxpayers, and they broke the law. We're not talking about just a handful of public employees. It's hundreds. In fact, if you rounded up all the offenders and put them in one place, they would overflow Albuquerque's Chemo Theater. The caper takes place here every election day. Now, the people you see voting aren't the problem. It's those you don't see that has launched a major investigation. It's a voting scandal involving state employees and tens of thousands of dollars. The scandal was sparked by a New Mexico statute that requires employers to grant up to 2 hours of paid leave for employees to go vote on election day. No matter where you work, city, county, state, or the private sector, the boss must give you time off to cast your ballot. To most, Election Day means the opportunity to vote, a right guaranteed under the Constitution. But to some unscrupulous New Mexicans, Election Day is just an excuse to play hooky from work. For example, in the 2010 primary election, a female staffer working at the Public Employee Retirement Office in Santa Fe took 2 hours off to vote. She took an additional 2 hours to cast her ballot in the general election. However, both in June for the primary and November for the general, the PERA employee was a no-show at the polls. In fact, records show she hasn't voted in the last 4 years. Another PERA employee left work 2 hours early to cast his ballot in the 2010 primary. However, our investigation found he wasn't even registered to vote. During the 2010 election, 12 PERA employees were reprimanded and had to repay money after it was learned they had lied about going to the polls. And it's not just PERA. News 13 has learned hundreds of state employees are in fact time bandits. They cheat taxpayers by lying on their time cards and then failing to vote during working hours. The results of a just completed investigation into voter leave fraud landed on the desk of State Personnel Officer Gene Mosier.
You've got to be kidding me. These results were shocking.
On Election Day 2010, almost 5,800 state employees took off from work for up to 2 hours in order to cast ballots.
13% of the people who went to vote didn't vote. That was off the chart as far as we were concerned. 550
state employees, registered voters, falsified their time cards by taking leave and not voting. Another 221 state employees took the leave but weren't even registered to vote.
By falsifying a document, which is when you're saying you're taking leave and you sign off that you took that leave for the purpose, that can be construed as fraud. And it's falsification of an official document. That constitutes under state law as a fourth-degree felony.
The largest concentration of time bandits were in the Human Services Department with 132 law-breaking employees. At the Health Department, 123, followed by Taxation and Revenue. Employees at 45 state agencies across New Mexico cheated taxpayers out of more than 1,400 hours. That includes the 13 staff members at the Albuquerque District Attorney's Office, the 8 scofflaws at Albuquerque's Metro Court, and 2 from the Attorney General's office. If somebody's going to cheat the system this way, will there be consequences?
There will be consequences. If they don't vote when they took the time, they will be held accountable. They need to repay the money, and we're going to go after that. And then the other part is, which part of disciplinary process are we going to initiate?
Discipline can range from a written reprimand all the way up to termination. When the governor saw this list, what was her reaction?
She was not happy.
Larry Barker, KRQE News 13.